And now, Mike's thoughts.
So with that being said, the Kansas City Chiefs did not pay the referees versus the Atlanta Falcons. Potentially miss a pass interference call. What part of that play was pass interference? I'll wait for the people in the chat. What part of that play was pass interference? Was it the face guarding? Was it the arm around the hip? What part of that play was pass interference? If you can't answer the question, then it was not pass interference. But let's say that flag was pass interference. Let's say they did throw the flag on that. Across the field, on the other side of the field, Bijan Robertson was holding Drew Tranquil for offensive pass interference or offensive holding. Those plays would have offset. They would have offset and they would have replayed fourth down anyways. More than likely, the Kansas City Chiefs would have held the Falcons again. Yes, again. The simple fact of the matter is, it's time for a new narrative. I'm sick and tired of it. I actually try to play into the trolls a little bit by posting pictures of the pass interference. It was not pass interference. It was face guarding, which in the NFL, you do not have to turn around. You can face guard. He did have his arm around him, but it was not impeding his ability to play the ball. So stop it. It was not pass interference. Sorry, guys. It was not pass interference. New story. Cue that intro. Are you ready for the best damn NFL show on the planet? Man Hour Nation. Rise up.
Yeah, hey, let's go. Hitting that gridiron, we going hard, we running the plays. You know the vibe, only the strong survive. Gotta keep your head in the game. Talking NFL, uncut, straight raw. Steady bringing that sauce. We about to take off. Get it hype, this man, our sport talk. Yeah, from the quarterback to the lineman. Everybody bringing heat. You don't really want to try them. Hey, who gon' win? It's a battle of the giants. This show is the flyest. Nobody can deny it. This is Man Hour. Sport Talk. Man Hour. Sport Talk.
Yeah.
What team you reppin'? We keep it interesting. Who caught another down? Who got that interception? This is Man Hour. Sport Talk. Man Hour. Sport Talk. What team you reppin'? We keep it interesting. Who caught another down? Who got that interception?
Let's go. What is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckhouse here with the Man Hour. Go to manhourradio.com. Check out the merchandise page. Check out the blog section. But most importantly today, in the description below, there's a Discord. If you guys do not get Monday Night Football and you would like to watch Monday Night Football tonight, there's 2 games tonight. 2 games happening. We got both games streaming over there on our Discord. So click on the Discord. It is free to enter. Click on it. Let's grow the community. Let's grow the trustworthiness among everybody here and watch some NFL football tonight. But today here on Monday Edition, guys, we got Factor Crap. We've been trolling the old interwebs. We've been out there, and I'm going to put out a statement. We're going to determine whether it's a fact or if it's crap. We're going to talk about those Philadelphia Eagles. We're going to talk about the Miami Dolphins, the mighty Dolphins. We're going to talk about the Tennessee Titans and Will Levis, about how big of mistakes they have made today. And of course, we got to talk about the real issue, the elephant in the room, and that is the Dallas Cowboys. Before we get too carried away, we got to welcome some people in the chat. Here we got the man, the myth, the legend herself, Miss Laura Hedricks in the chat. She says Skull Nation all day long. Laura, your Skull Nation is playing good right now. They are 3-0. They're playing good. Sam Darnold is playing great right now. And on top of all that, Laura, you are first place right now in the week 3 NFL Pick'em. Week 3. So, Laura, I believe if the Jaguars get, or the Buffalo Bills versus the Jaguars, I think you have 547 yards total. If they get under 600 yards total, basically, you win today's game. You win You win an NFL jersey, Laura. You win it. But to be determined, to be determined, to be determined. We also got my man John in the house. John Pebbles is a pigskin pundit. He is a subscriber here. He clicked on the subscribe button below. He gets free man-hour urge. He gets he gets some random ass streams, and he gets a lot of stuff. He gets a lot of perks. He gets free entry to the NFL $2,000 pick'em each and every week here. But he says he was humping him, blocking the ball from the receiver. That's how it was pass interference. So, John, I understand you are a Las Vegas Raiders fan. I understand you are a Detroit Lions fan as well. But you can face guard, John. In the NFL, you can face guard. Now, if you look back, you have to make a play on the ball. But if you look at him, you can face guard and just be like, oh, I'll stay free. You can do that. You can do that in the NFL. The only thing that could potentially have been a pass interference call was the old wrapping of the arm. That's the only thing that could have potentially have been a pass interference call, and the wrapping of the arm happened after he jumped in the air, so he was not impeding his catch. Pass interference, you have to impede the catch. You have to impede the catch. He did not impede the catch. And he says, I know you slept well from that incompetent ref in the red zone. Listen, that did not end the game. I believe the very next series, the Kansas City Chiefs went three and out. The Falcons came down, had it 4th and 6 inches. They decided to give a 7-yard handoff to Bijan Robinson, and he got tackled for a 5-yard loss. I mean, the Falcons had their opportunities. They had their opportunities. They just could not cash in. That's why the Kansas City Chiefs are champions, because they win in the face of adversity. Laura says last night's game was a good game. Did not like the end result, but hey, we can't win them all. You are correct, Laura. I believe last night was one of the most entertaining games of the weekend. Now, we did have the 49ers and Rams go into overtime. The 49ers had a 14-point lead going into the second half. The Rams came back and tied it up 24-all. Ultimately ended up kicking a game-winning field goal. The Detroit Lions and Arizona Cardinals went back and forth. The Dallas Cowboys made the Ravens game a little bit interesting as well. The Giants shocked the world, right, by beating the Browns, kind of thumping the Browns. But yeah, last night's game was very, very entertaining. I liked it. And Laura also says, I don't think I put yardage in there. Honestly, I think it should be disqualified. Laura, I'm pretty sure you did put yardage in it. I mean, I could be mistaken, but I thought you had 537 yards for total yardage, and the other person had 600 that you are tied with. You are tied with Will. Is it Will Shields? I think it is, or something like that. I'm not for sure. John says, don't get sidetracked. It was clearly a pass interference. It was not. It was not pass interference. So, guys, let me ask this question. Generalized question down here in the comments below. If you guys have not done so, hit the like button. Share this with a couple friends as well, because sharing is caring at the end of the day. But was that a pass interference call last night for the Kansas City Chiefs and the Atlanta Falcons in the red zone? Let me know. Let me know. Frank is in the chat. Frank is on cloud tonight. His Colts won. He says, hey. Actually, Frank says hi. Hi, Frank. How are you doing today? Hope you, man, Frank, let's give Frank a round of applause. Thank you, Frank, for beating down Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears. Thank you for sending the Battle of I-65. Send those little wannabe Hoosiers back to Indiana or back to Chicago where they belong. We don't want none of those non-Hoosiers trying to think in there they can own our 65, our Interstate 65. Get out of here. But what's up, Frank? Hope you're having a grand old day. Casey says, we talking about the Chiefs game? Regardless of the pass interference, the refs just plain sucked that game. Falcons did capitalize on a 50-ish yards from the from the refs gave them in the last 4 minutes of the game. I don't want to point any blame because let's just be honest, the refs have bad games too. Just like players, just like us, the refs are human. They have bad games as well. Some days the whistle's a little quick, right? Some days the whistle is swollen a little bit. A little bit swollen. Let's just get in and get our money and get at home, right? Chris Jones was being held all game long. Hands to the face, hands up around his neck all game long. There was holding on both sides of the ball. There's a lot of physical play on both sides of the ball. I mean, as long as you're calling it the same on both sides, it doesn't really matter to me one way or the other. And John wants to do the Vegas thing. Vegas wins them all. Vegas wins them all. Meaning the sports betting, meaning ESPN Bet, meaning DraftKings, meaning what's the other one? FanDuel. All those. Casey says they even said it in the broadcast. That ball was uncatchable. So if we're talking about the pass interference call, so the uncatchable rule is no longer a part of the NFL. Now, I believe it was mid 2000s, like 2010, 2011, that rule kind of went away, right? Because before you could battle, you could beat down the receiver if the ball was, quote, deemed uncatchable. But then we started seeing balls getting catched that we thought were uncatchable getting caught. For example, Odell Beckham Jr. catch, right? How about that interception from the Bengals guy from the Chiefs, right? Week 2. There are some amazing catches nowadays. You're like, that was uncatchable. How are you catching that? So the uncatchable rule is no longer a part of the NFL. It's been that way for at least 10 years, if not longer. So whether it was deemed uncatchable or not, if it's a pass interference call, it's a pass interference call. But it wasn't a pass interference. It was just face guarding. That's all it come down to. All it come down to. And John says, from Chris Collinsworth, come on. The minute you said Chris Collinsworth, my mind turned off. Laura says, I like the fact that the refs let them actually play last night. Yeah, I mean, the one thing that I love about high school football is that my cornerbacks can legit beat up receivers all the way down the field. We can legit beat up receivers all the way down the field. Now, when the ball is in the air, we got to get like hands off. But I'm teaching my kids pop, drive them outside, drive them out of bounds, keep pushing them, keep pushing them. Make their mamas come crying. Make their mama come crying. Speaking of Pink Gun Spun It, John is in the chat as well. He says, what's good, y'all? John, your t-shirt is in the mail, my man. So actually it is not. I fibbed on that. I need your size. So send me your size, John. I believe it was a large, but I can't remember for sure. But I'll get that ordered as soon as the show is over. Once you give me your size, we'll get your shirt ordered in the mail. But guys, this is Factor Crap here Monday. We'll be talking about a little bit of Factor Crap coming up here very, very shortly. We got the Eagles, Dolphins, and Titans. But we got to talk about the Dallas Cowboys. We have to talk about the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys right now, guys, are in a world of hurt. The Dallas Cowboys are like, I don't know what to do with my hands. When we think of the Dallas Cowboys right now, America's team, even fresh off of the ass kicking that they get, yes, they only lost by 3 points, but let's just be honest, they get their ass whooped. We're still talking about them. They're still leading every show that I turned on today. It was all about the Dallas Cowboys. Everything on ESPN, Dallas Cowboys. Everything on Fox, Dallas Cowboys. Everything on CBS, Dallas Cowboys. Everything on NFL Channel, Dallas Cowboys. True America's team. But, guys, the Dallas Cowboys have some real issues right now. The Dallas Cowboys have some real issues right now. Last week, we talked about it. Laura, you were here. John, you were here. When I said, what do the Ravens do well? Run the ball. What do the Steelers do real well? Run the ball. What do the 49ers do real well? Run the ball. And we flat out said right here on the show, I said, if the Dallas Cowboys cannot figure out how to stop the run, they could very easily win or lose 4, 5, 6 games in a row. Right now, they're on a 2-game losing streak because they cannot stop the run. But let's talk about last night's game. Yesterday afternoon's game, they were down 28-6 with 8 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter. 8 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter. They get a 3 and out from the Baltimore Ravens, and they go down and they score. They went for 2. Why? I don't know. Chasing points. You never chase points. You always get the points that you're given. But they're down 28 to 12 with just under 8 minutes to go at this particular time. They do an onside kick. They recover the onside kick, the first one in forever it seems like. But they go over and they get the onside kick and they go right down. They score another touchdown. Went for 2 again. Why? Chasing points, I guess. But that puts them down 28-18. So at this particular point, guys, they have scored 12 unanswered points in boom time. They have scored 12 points. The whole energy in the whole stadium has been lifted. The Baltimore Ravens are starting to deflate. The Dallas Cowboys are starting to inflate. And what do you see? You see CeeDee Lamb on the sideline pouting. Oh, man. On the two-point conversion, you see him waving his hands. I'm open. No, you're not. He was not open. He was covered very, 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 very well. Like, throwing attention. Oh, man. Whatever. Digress from that. Dallas Cowboys try another onside kick. This time, Zay Flowers does recover the onside kick. Baltimore Ravens, another 3 and out. Starting to catch a vibe here. Fourth quarter, the Baltimore Ravens fall apart. But long story short, the Dallas Cowboys go down, they score again. Go for another 2-point conversion, they fail yet again. They're down by 3, 28-25. The Baltimore Ravens ultimately end up getting a first down, ultimately sealing the win by letting Lamar Jackson keep the ball, not giving it to Derrick Henry. But we got to ask the question, what is the real issue in Dallas right now? When we look at the Dallas Cowboys, what is the real issue? Is it Dak Prescott? No. I think Dak is playing very, very well. I think the offense in general is playing well. When you have to play from behind and throw the ball 40, 50 times a game to remotely get caught back up, to remotely have a chance, you're doing okay. Now, the running game kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Maybe when Dalvin Cook gets activated and Zeke Elliott gets cut, maybe they'll come up, right? Is it the defense? Well, kind of, right? Kind of is. But on the other side of that hand, the Dallas Cowboys defense is built to play from ahead. The Dallas Cowboys defense is not built to stop the run. The Dallas Cowboys defense is not built to stop the run. It is built to pin the ears back and go get the quarterback. Go get the ball. So, who is it to blame? Who is the blame game there in Dallas? Who do we blame? I have 3 fingers that I want to point to. Number 1, I want to point the first finger to Mike Zimmer. Mike Zimmer, you have been deemed this defensive guru, whatever, yada, yada, yada. But 9 times in your 15-year NFL career as a coach, your defenses have been finishing in the bottom half of the league. You did have a number 1 defense back in 2017 with the Minnesota Vikings. And the following year, you had a fifth best, and I think you had the 8th best in 2019. That 3-year stretch, you were amazing. You were God's greatest thing since sliced bread. But then the following year, you were 25th, and then 20th, and then 19th, and just not very good. The blame game, number 1, goes to Mike Zimmer. You need to rally your troops. You need to figure out your defense. If you are going to be playing from behind, you know teams are going to run on you because you can't stop the run. Figure something out. Blitz. Run a 5-2. Walk up something. Figure something out. Blame game number 1 is going to Mike Zimmer. Blame game number 2 is going to go to CeeDee Lamb. It's going to go to CeeDee Lamb. Guys, what has CeeDee Lamb done for the Dallas Cowboys so far this NFL season. All he done is bitch, moan, and complain. Let's just be honest about it. Ever since he got his bread, ever since he's got his da-da-da-da bills, yo, he's been a whiny little bitch. Let's just call a spade a spade. He's been a whiny little bitch. Who was the number one threat for the Dallas Cowboys yesterday in the receiving game? It wasn't CeeDee Lamb. It was Tolbert. It was Brandon Cooks. It was the fullback, number 40. It was everybody but CeeDee Lamb because he was sitting there bitching and moaning and complaining. Give me the ball. Give me the ball. Give me the ball. Shut up. Shut up. And then pointing the blame at number 3 is Jerry Jones, honestly. Let's point the blame at Jerry Jones. He puts his team up on a pedestal year after year after year on a clumsy foundation, and the foundation finally just collapsed a little early this season. Normally it waits till week 16, but this year it just collapsed. Jerry Jones is trying to play it off as a good thing. Oh, it's a good thing that we're getting beat. It's a good thing that we're getting our asses kicked. Maybe we'll figure it out later in the year. Or maybe not. So when we look at the ultimate blame game, the person to blame for the Dallas Cowboys' failures right now is CeeDee Lamb. Micah Parsons even called him out in his post game. Didn't really put a name on it, but we all know who you were talking about. Hey man, you got your bread and I gotta boost you up. Man, you're the richest motherfucker here, and I have to talk you up. Get out of here, guys. The Dallas Cowboys locker room is divided right now 100%. All the blame doesn't need to go to Dak, doesn't need to go to CeeDee, doesn't need to go to the coaching staff or ownership. All the fingers would be pointed at CeeDee Lamb. Right there on the screen. You guys see it right there. See Lamb right there. Boop, 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 boop. You are to blame, CeeDee. Step up. Be a man. Be a man. Do something. Casey says the Dallas Cowboys are in postseason form. And John says the Cowboys have zero chemistry. Listen, I think there is chemistry on the Dallas Cowboys team. But when you insert a outsider, boom, CeeDee Lamb, it starts to cause rifts in your team. Because you guys have to remember this, right? CeeDee Lamb wasn't sweating it out in San Francisco or in California. CeeDee Lamb wasn't out sleeping in a hotel room for three months. CeeDee Lamb wasn't out there running those drills, those 2-a-days, eating the cold-ass, nasty-ass food. CeeDee Lamb was down there in Houston living it up at the beach, quote, working out. The chemistry is, there is a chemistry issue, but everything gets pointed back to CeeDee Lamb. The chemistry is fractured because of CeeDee Lamb. He was not there at training camp. If you take CeeDee Lamb out of the mix, bada bing, bada boom, maybe that receiver core, maybe the whole team in general kind of has weight off their shoulder. I have a kid on my team. This kid is hurt all the time. Whether it's actual painness or if it's just his mangina's hurt. But when this kid is out, my team plays better. My team plays more energized, more hype, more like, hey, we don't need him, right? He's a damn good player. Do not get that twisted. Probably one of these best players in the state. I'd probably put him at top 10 player in the state. But once he's out, my team plays better. We play confident. We play with heart. We play with energy. We have chemistry. We like each other. The minute you insert that kid back in, oh, give me the ball. Give me the ball. Give me the ball. Chemistry starts to get fractured. People are like, oh, he'll just handle it. Boom. He'll handle it. Boom. I mean, it sucks to see. I actually have the kid benched right now because of that very, very reason. it's just no heart. Sean says, not a chance. Their D line is too small to compete. Their D line is built to chase the quarterback. That's what it comes down to, Sean. The Dallas Cowboys defense is built to play with the lead. When we look back at, 3 years ago when Diggs had 7 interceptions in a season, and then the following season, his backup, what is the backup's name? Blake? Was it Blank or something? I can't remember the backup's name. He had 6 interceptions. It's because when you are able to play man up and just not have to worry about the run, focus on your receiver, it's easy to play defense. It's easy to play football when you're playing with the lead. It just is what it is. And Laura says Mike Zimmer was a bust when he was with the Skull Squad. There's a reason why he got fired, right? Casey says Lamb got paid and is no longer having the heart out there than playing the victim. I would take it one step further. He knows he got paid. I think he feels like he doesn't have to work hard to be great anymore, right? We talked about this guys months ago, right? We've been throwing out examples all the time. The players that got paid, and then you never see them or hear from them again, right? CeeDee Lamb could be the next great player that got paid, and you never hear from him do anything. And Carson Lang, what's up, Carson, my man? He says if the defense is designed to play from the lead, they aren't playing the lead as clearly as the offense. Yes and no. Yes and no. Right? It was the first play the first drive of the game. The Baltimore Ravens drove right down the field, sliced through that defense like knife with a hot butter. Sometimes the defense just got to step up. Let's just be honest. Sometimes the defense has to step up. But on the flip side of this, guys, let's talk about the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens yet again had a 10 plus point lead. What, they were up, was it 28-6? 28-6 with 8 minutes left to go in the game, and they damn near gave the game away again. They damn near gave away the game again. If they would have done that again, it would have been their 8th time in the last 2 seasons that they gave up a 10-point lead or 10-plus point lead in the fourth quarter to lose a football game. Let me ask you guys something. Let's say the Baltimore Ravens did give away that game to the Dallas Cowboys in the fourth quarter. Let's say that Mike McCarthy is not chasing those points. He kicks the PAT, kicks the other PAT. Then they're only down, what was it? It would have been 27-20, or been 26. No, been 27-28. Going into that final PAT, you then at the point, do you go for the tie, or do you go for the win? Let's say he goes for the win and gets it. 29-28 is like as a score, and the Baltimore Ravens ultimately lose that game. Are we singing a different tune about the Dallas Cowboys then if they would have come and won that game? Are we singing a different tune like, hey, maybe the Dallas Cowboys aren't so bad, they just had a bad 3.5 first quarters? No, we're not. The Dallas Cowboys guys right now are a very, very bad team. The Dallas Cowboys right now are a very, very bad team. Whether it's chemistry, whether it's defense, whether it's coaching, whether it's all the above, the Dallas Cowboys are a bad team right now. They could be, if the Carolina Panthers were to come into Dallas, Texas right now, they will lose. If the Raiders were to come into town right now, they will lose. They might be the worst team in the NFL right now. Now, Thursday, luckily for them, they play on Thursday night at MetLife Stadium versus the New York Football Giants. Quick turnaround. But right now, guys, the Dallas Cowboys are just a very, very bad team. Laura says, when it comes to the Cowboys, I'm going to say there's always next year. Too soon, Laura. Too soon. John says that's the whole Cowboys organization. Whining and complaining little bitches. As they say, one person spoils the whole, or like one bad apple spoils the whole batch, right? So, CeeDee Lamb whining and complaining. Hell, Micah Parsons starting to whine and complain too, right? But it is what it is. My man Arthur Brown just says, "What up, Buck? Here to see you're getting your manly voice back a little bit. It's still crackling, but like I said, I'm on my third bag of cough drops this weekend. As long as I'm not coughing, I'm drinking plenty of water. I should be good. Should be good." Casey says, "People like trashing the Cowboys more than their most teams, regardless they're winning or losing. This is facts." Casey says, "No matter what, let's say Eagles fans, you guys had a great win over the weekend. We're going to talk about you guys here coming up. Philadelphia Eagles had a great win over the New Orleans Saints. They're not talking about their win. They're talking about the Cowboys' loss. New York Giants, y'all had a great win over the Cleveland Browns. Actually looked like a decent football team. What are y'all talking about? Not the win. Oh, you guys see the Dallas Cowboys get beat? Look at the Dallas Cowboys. Look, man, the Cowboys suck. That's why they're America's team, Casey. That is why they are America's team. But guys, it is time to move on here. Move on to a beautiful fact or crap. Fact or crap here on this beautiful Monday edition of Man Hour NFL Talk. We are live, raw, uncut every 2:30, every Monday through Friday, 2:30 East Coast time, right here on Facebook.com, and of course, YouTube.com/Man Hour NFL Talk. If you guys like to hear us on podcast form, you can check us out on Spotify, iTunes, of course, iHeartRadio. But most importantly, guys, check out the Discord. The Discord is free to join. We are going to be streaming both Monday Night Football games over there. I'm actually going to start streaming them as soon as I end this show here because I got a football game to attend tonight. We have senior night over at the old high school tonight. We got to do that versus good old Corden. Corden Cougars we're playing tonight. The Cougars, rawr. But with that being said, guys, fact or crap. Fact or crap is very, very simple. I've been out there trolling the old interwebs, and I'm going to ask a question. Is it? And then you guys are going to in the comments below determine whether it's a fact or if it's a crap. So feel free to play along because interacting is fun. And I see all the comments. So if you want to talk your shit, talk your shit. Talk your shit. But this first fact or crap here on this beautiful Monday edition of Man Hour NFL Talk, we're going to talk about the Philadelphia Eagles. The Philadelphia Eagles had a huge win over the high-flying, powerful New Orleans Saints on Sunday. They finally scored a couple touchdowns. Their defense looked pretty stout, and they pretty much shut down the Saints for nearly 4 quarters. They ultimately won 15-12 in a stunning fashion. Saquon Barkley with 2 touchdowns to go along with that game. But on Saturday, when we had Mark Dion and Huffy on, we kind of spoke about the Eagles. We kind of told them, like, hey, this is kind of a make or break game. And many people are like, oh, no. But I thought it was a make or break game for the Philadelphia Eagles going into this game. So we got to ask this question, guys. Is it a fact or is it crap that the win over the New Orleans Saints saved the Philadelphia Eagles season? Guys, the Philadelphia Eagles have been playing bad football since midseason of 2023. In the last 7 games, Jalen Hurts has an interception in all 7 of those games. All 7 of those games, he has an interception. The offense has looked terrible. The defense has given up tons of points, right? And there's been a lot of finger pointing, right? When the Eagles lost to the who they play week to the Falcons, Nick Sirianni basically come out and lied and said, I don't call the plays, Kellen Moore calls the plays. Flash forward a week, Nick Sirianni's like, no, the blame comes on me. It was actually decent play calling. The defense looked great. Held the Saints to just 12 points. Saquon Barkley had 2 rushing touchdowns. So, guys, is it a fact or crap that this win saved the Philadelphia Eagles season? This is 100% fact. This is a factual statement. The Philadelphia Eagles season would have been over if they would have lost to the New Orleans Saints. Now, depending on how they lost, right? If they got blown out, 100%, Nick Sirianni's fired, Kellen Moore's fired, defensive coordinator's fired, clean house, right? If it would have been a close loss, we would have been, but they still would have been bad. Guys, the vibe in Philadelphia is literally night and day right now. Literally night and day. A 15-12 win over the New Orleans Saints. The Eagles are flying high. When I release my power rankings tomorrow morning, they're probably going to break into the top 10. After us basically saying that their season was going to be over if they lost. This is a fact, guys. This is 100% fact. This is a turning point of the Philadelphia season. Confidence is killer in the NFL. Now, they still have some holes to fix. Don't get it twisted. They still have some holes to fix. The whole fake tush push thing, what was that all about? You faked the tush push to give it to Saquon Barkley to go the outside. I think he ended up losing like 3 yards. Very questionable call, but going in the right direction. The big momentum is picking up for the Philadelphia Eagles, and I do think it is a fact. I do think that this was a season-saving win for them. Definitely flipped their season. So, guys, fact or crap? Did the Eagles save their season with the win over the New Orleans Saints? John says, nah. The old line is horrible, and Jalen is playing like shit. 7 interceptions in 7 straight games is not very good. But Jalen Hurts also, John, is taking on a different role. When we think of the Philadelphia Eagles past, previous of 2024, we don't think as Jalen Hurts as a leader. Leaders are Fletcher Cox, we had Lane Johnson, we have Jason Kelsey. We we have those gritty out players that were the leaders. Jalen Hurts has kind of been forced into this leadership role, and I think that's what happened toward the end of the season. He was being forced into this leadership role. He wasn't there. Week 1, okay, maybe kind of there. Week 2, I'm not ready. Week 3, okay, it is my team. Now, when you when you're having to deal with leadership stuff and off the field stuff, it is hard to focus on the game. Now that leadership stuff for Jalen Hurts is starting to come a little bit easier, be the actual true leader of your NFL team, now I think his play is going to start to improve a little bit. Now I do think that the Eagles team organization is going to start to build that chemistry. Chemistry seems to be the key word of the of the day, and they're really going to, catapult. Now they do got a tough few games moving forward. They do play the Buccaneers at Tampa Bay, even though they lost that trap game to the Broncos on Sunday. That's going to be a good game. They play the Browns, Giants, and Bengals moving forward. They play 4 of their next games, 4 of their next 5 games on the road. Really perfect time for them to really build that chemistry and build together. Pepe's in the chat says, "What up? Let's go Chiefs." Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And John says it's still over. They barely make the playoffs. What did the Giants do in 2012? They barely made the playoffs. They had to beat the Patriots week 17 to get into the playoffs. What they do? They run through the playoffs and they beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl. So, as long as a team makes it, as long as you made it, there's still a chance. I think the Eagles are a long way from over right now. Laura says, Eagles need to soar, but hey, I like that. They're not as good at the moment. Laura's a Vikings fan, so let's just put that out there. So, no. As long as any NFC team is bad in Laura's eyes, things are good. Pepe says, Saquon will need to continue to run the ball well, but the Eagles are a good team. The Eagles have a good core, right? I did not like what Jalen Carter was doing at the end of that game, running his mouth, right? he's going to get a welcome to the NFL moment probably next week. But he was running his mouth a lot towards the Honey Badger and the Saints fans in general. But as a passive Cowboys fan, I do agree with you, Pepe. I think the Eagles are a good team. I think this is a fact. I think this win saved their season. Casey says, I will say, let's see if they played the same next game or back doing what they're doing to week 1 and week 2. So basically, Casey says, slow it down, baby. Slow it down. Just because you beat the Saints one game, the sun shines on a dog's ass at least twice a day. Carson Lang, 2022, when he said that. So Casey says, slow it down. Let's see what they do against the Bucs. Let's see what they do against the Browns. Then we can see if it saved their season. Then we can say, hey, this is the turning point of the season. But if they backtrack to what they did week 2, John says, old line is almost like the Bears. Do not wish that evil on anybody, Ricky Bobby. The Chicago Bears have the worst offensive line ever. Ever. When you look at offensive lines and you see bad, the Chicago Bears is definition. Was it Baker Mayfield that got sacked 7 times on Sunday and got hit 9 extra times on top of that? So the Bucs could be just as bad. But guys, factor crap. Did this win save the Philadelphia Eagles season? Next up here on the old factor crap, the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins are in a very turbulent place right now. Their starting quarterback is out due to a concussion. He is out for at least another week or two, presumably for the rest of the season. Skylar Thompson, the backup quarterback, goes down mid-second quarter, and Miami Dolphins looked all but lost on Sunday, ultimately losing to the Seattle Seahawks 24-3. The defense looked flat. The team looked flat. Nothing was clicking for the Miami Dolphins on Sunday. They almost had that mid-season funk where you just forget to show up, except for it's not mid-season, it's week 3. So, guys, is it fact or is it crap that the Miami Dolphins season is officially over after the 2-game losing streak? Losses to the Buffalo Bills and loss to the Seattle Seahawks on Sunday. When we look at the Miami Dolphins, guys, their defense looked terrible on Sunday. I'm not saying that the Seattle Seahawks are a bad team. I think they're a pretty good team. They might make some noise to a nice little playoff push. But the simple fact of the matter is the Miami Dolphins defense was ranked 4th in total defense going into week 3. What they do week 3, they allowed 289 passing yards to Geno Smith and Charbonnet. Is that how you say his name? Charbonnet. The backup running back for the Seattle Seahawks had 91 yards rushing. The Seahawks actually ultimately had 111 yards rushing. The defense looked flat. The defense looked lost. The defense looked terrible. The offense looked terrible. Tyreek Hill had 3 catches. Jalen Waddle had 3 catches on 5 targets. Guys, the Miami Dolphins just looked a lot alike. What? Guys, if the Miami Dolphins do not win versus the Tennessee Titans on Monday Night Football next week, their season is completely done. Their season is completely over. But with that being said, factor crap, is their season over after this week 3 loss to the Seattle Seahawks? I'm going to say crap. I think it is a crap because they have a pretty favorable schedule moving forward. They do play the 0-3 Titans coming up on Monday Night Football next week. They do travel to New England, which is 1-2. Not a very good team. They do play the Colts. The Colts have a good defense. Offense is still trying to find themselves a little bit. Could be a good game. Then they play the Cardinals. Then they play a Rams team that's kind of a sinking ship right now. The Raiders, we don't know how good or how bad they actually are. So the Miami Dolphins have some time to figure themselves out. But if they go on a 3-game losing streak, losing to the Bills, losing to the Seahawks, and losing to the Titans, then it is all but over. So that question is a little bit premature, but I saw a lot of Miami Dolphins fans basically saying, oh, we're fine. We're fine. We're fine. We're fine. I want to say slow it down. So, guys, fact or crap, is the Miami Dolphins season over? Laura says fact. Fact, she says. Miami Dolphins is not playing good football. Casey says the Fins are in the better luck next year bracket. Ooh, damn. Carson Lang says the Miami Dolphins might as well change their name to the Titanics because they are sunk. They are sunk. But John says crap. Says slow it down, baby. They may have lost to the Seahawks and looked terrible. They may have lost to the Buffalo Bills and looked terrible. They may have barely beat a terrible Jacksonville Jaguars team, but slow it down. Slow it down, baby. It's crap. Their not season's over yet. Wait till they lose to the Titans. Pepe says, my friend wants to know if the Dolphins are cooked. I think the Dolphins are on the grill. The chef is getting ready to chop the head off, and it's getting hot. Getting a little hot in here. So let me ask you guys this question. Let's say the Miami Dolphins do only get maybe 5 wins this season, maybe 6. Is Mike McDaniels out? Is Mike McDaniels on the hot seat? Not because of just of this season, but the overall performance the last couple years. I saw a stat somewhere where he is 1-11 since taking over versus winning teams for the Miami Dolphins. 1-11 against winning teams. And then you're getting beat like this. Is Mike McDaniels on the hot seat? I think he is. I think he is. John says the Hawks are flying right now. Defense definitely looked terrible. Miami Dolphins defense looked terrible. And Carson says the running back's name is pronounced Charbonnet. Charbonnet. Like isn't a Charbonnet like a wine? Moving on. Speaking of those beautiful Tennessee Titans, the Tennessee Titans yet lost again. They are the only team right now in the NFL that is 0-3. Pending, there's a couple teams that are 0-3 tonight that are 0-2 that could be 0-3. But right now, the Tennessee Titans are the worst team in the NFL. Malik Willis, former quarterback of the Tennessee Titans, was traded off about 5 weeks ago to the Green Bay Packers, coming to town and basically whooped the Titans' ass. Will Levis has made some pretty bad plays to keep the Tennessee Titans at 0-3. So, guys, is it a fact or is it a crap? Did the Tennessee Titans make a mistake by keeping Will Levis and naming him starter quarterback and not taking Malik Willis? When we look at Will Levis does have 579 yards passing this season. First week versus the Chicago Bears, he had 127 yards passing. Next week versus the Jets, he had 192 yards passing. And last night versus the Packers, he had 260. His QBR has also improved each and every week as well. Week number 1, it was about 30. Then it was 50. Now it's up into the 70 range. He does have 5 interceptions in 3 games, but also has 4 touchdowns. The biggest red flag for Will Levis right now is he makes stupid mistakes. Will Levis makes dumb mistakes. He tries to be Superman when he just needs to just take it and just bite the bullet. Sometimes when you try to put out the fire or to stop the bleeding, you do things that is out of your realm and it causes more bleeding. Sometimes how you react to situations when the fire is burning is not to panic. It's sometimes just to take a break, look around. Oh, there's the fire hose. Then let me put it out. Will Levis right now, his mind's going boom, and he's just be like, go slow it down. Right now he's about 200 beats per minute. Slow it down to about 120 beats per minute. That's where he needs to be. And right now he's just a little crazy. But with that being said, I think it is crap. I think the Titans did not make a mistake by keeping Will Levis. I think Will Levis has potential to be a really, really good quarterback in this NFL season. Because if you take back those two bad mistakes, one versus the Bears, where he threw the pick six when he tried to like underhand it while like he was getting sacked, and then the Superman play versus the Jets, which ultimately caused a fumble, I believe it was a scoop to score. The Titans should be 2-1. You take away those two mistakes, the Titans are 2-1. And Will Levis is improving each and every week. Now, I was high on the Titans this offseason. I thought they were going to be a wild card, and I thought they were going to kind of, compete for the AFC South title. Now they still can. They still can. Jaguars are bad. The Houston Texans kind of got knocked in the mouth a little bit, and the Colts are still learning themselves. There's still time, but the Titans organization, Hopkins, Calvin Ridley, Tyler Boyd, that whole team just needs to take a deep breath and slow down. They need to take a deep breath and slow down and understand that this is a learning curve. This is a learning season. This is a team building season. Now, I understand D-Hop is getting a little long in the tooth. I understand D-Hop wants to win right now. But in all reality, D-Hop hasn't been the same person that he was in Houston for three or four years now. So this is crap. I think the Titans just need to take a deep breath, slow down, simplify the playbook, and tell him that he doesn't need to be playing hero ball. You could be 2-1 if you didn't make stupid ass mistakes. And Brian Callahan has already said that in public once. And I'm sure he's saying it a hell of a lot less nicely behind doors. I like what the Titans have built, guys. I like what the Titans are doing there in Tennessee. Will Levis is going to be a top 15 quarterback by the end of the season. Is he right now? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. He is bottom tier. So, guys, factor crap. Did the Tennessee Titans make a mistake by keeping Will Levis and naming him starter? Carson Lang says the Titans will be 1-3 after next week. Titans play the. It was a Monday night game, wasn't it? Yeah. So they're playing at Miami on Monday Night Football. It's tough to play in Miami. Florida Heat's something else, especially Monday night. I don't know. Titans will bring it back. Bring what back, John? Laura says poor Snead. Probably don't know what to do with a bad team. But the Titans aren't a bad team, though. I mean, if you realistically look at it, the Chicago Bears have a top 10 defense. The New York Jets have a top 5 defense. The Green Bay Packers have a top 10 defense. And he's getting better and better each week. So when he plays a bad defensive team like the Miami Dolphins, might be a little bit easier. Carson, you might be right. When you play a team like the New England Patriots or the Chargers or the Washington Commanders or the Jaguars or the Bengals, guys, the Titans could get hot and rattle off 6, 7, 8 wins in a row. It could happen. But John says crap. They made the right decision. And Laura says crap as well. Pepe's got the question of the day. He says, what happens first? Dolphins win a game or Tyreek gets into an altercation off the field? I think the Dolphins win a game first. Because as much as Tyreek Hill has that wannabe thug mentality, he is very much a Southern Alabama type of guy, right? I believe he went to Western Alabama Community College, a very, very tough school to play, right? He has been relatively keeps his nose clean off the field. Mainly because he's trying to get laid way too much. He's got a lot of baby mamas floating around there. But the Miami Dolphins have an easier schedule the next few weeks, right? They play the Titans, they play the Patriots, they play the Cardinals, they play the Colts. All very, very winnable games. So I think the Dolphins win a game before Tyreek Hill gets into an altercation. But that thanks for the question there, Pepe. And Pepe says, since joining the Titans, Snead has a need for weed. Now I'm wrong. Carson says, playing daytime in Miami is rough because of the way the stadium is built / laid out. Playing at night, the games are not as bad. And the problem is, Carson, is a 7:30 kickoff. So here on the East Coast, the sun is still up to about 9 o'clock at night still, 8:30-ish. So you have that first hour of the game in sunlight. So yes and no, right? Yes and no. But guys, that is going to be it for today's show. Thank you guys for joining us as always. The voice is starting to go. I need to prep for the game. Senior night, got a couple things to tie up here. Yada, yada, yada. And I got to script my first 10 plays. I got a bubble screen left, bubble screen right, middle screen, and then fly. What do you guys think? Screen, fly? Is it going to work? One of those symbols this, a little bit of this. We'll see. But guys, as always, thank you for joining me. Be here tomorrow. We will talk about the Monday Night Football games. We should talk about those games here real quick. Let's see, who do you guys got tonight? Tonight's matchup, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Buffalo Bills. This is a 7:30 kickoff here on ESPN. You can stream it on our Discord if you do not get ESPN. Check it out. I'm taking the Buffalo Bills. I think Josh Allen is much too powerful for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I think that young receiving core is starting to come around a little bit. Then we have the Commanders taking on the Cincinnati Bengals. The Commanders are starting to find the red zone. They have not found the end zone, but the Bengals are 0-3 right now, and they potentially got a long season ahead of them. I don't see them losing back-to-back home games. So I'm taking the Bills Mafia, and I'm taking Rule of the Jungle. So Bills and Bengals I got tonight. Who do you guys got? Prevent for defense, Carson? No, absolutely not. I'm running chaos all night long. I run a 4-2-5. I'm bringing the jackbacker all night long. Going to punish those people. But who do you guys got tonight? We got Bills, Bengals, and Bengals. I like it. So Laura's got Bengals and Bills. Carson's got Bengals and Bills as well. I'm taking the Bengals and Bills as well. Hoffy has the Bengals and Bills. And, of course, Combs has Bengals and Bills as well. Looks like got to pretty much sweep across the board. But until again, guys, see you tomorrow, 2:30 East Coast time. We out.